guys, good morning. Today I have another book unhaul to go through with you. I've got about 4 piles of books here. I've been doing quite a few of them recently and will continue to do so in the future because I'm probably going to be moving to Chicago next year, which means I'm going to be sharing my apartment, which means I cannot stuff it full of books as it is now. So in this next year, I'm just kind of taking a harder look at the books I have, going through them, trying to choose which ones have I had for a long time, still haven't read, probably not going to read. So we've got a few more today. We're just going to jump right in. We've got a Stephen King book. What is this? From a Buick 8. From a Buick 8. Book number 1. This is a duplicate I have, which is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I think I've got it right behind me, actually. Crave. I took this one down and put it back several times, but I think this is just too YA for me currently. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to read it. Don't Tell a Soul. I've never seen or heard of this one like anywhere else, which is perfectly fine. I don't need the books I read to all be like bestsellers or really well known or anything like that. But again, it's clearly very YA. So I'm sorry, YA. I like a lot of you, but not all of you. Dry. I have been having kind of difficulty with this author. I have started to read, I think, 3 of his books, and I think I've DNF'd all of them, unfortunately. He's really well received. It's just I don't think his writing is a style that I necessarily enjoy very much, so I will be getting rid of this one. We have A Gracious Plenty, which is a cool cover. North to Benjamin. This, I think, is about a family who moves to the Yukon, and a boy gets like really close to a like big old dog out there, and then they get stuck, I think, out in the wilderness or something like that. Midnight Thief. I do not know what this one is about, but I've had it for a long time and I'm not going to read it. So A Farewell to Arms. I did find a copy that I like the script inside a lot better, so this one will be going. These two, I've been like wishy-washy. We've got, which is the first one? Court of Fives, and then Poison Blade. I don't know. Yeah, I think for a variety of reasons. I think it sounds like a lot of other fantasy series that I've read, which is fine. Like, you can read a book that sounds like a lot of other books, but then the author does, either by her characters or certain themes or writing style or whatever, chooses to make her own mark there. But I think this is just a bit too young for me right now, and it does feel like, I have read this series before several times, so it can go to someone that is really going to enjoy it. Because I think the author won like a World Fantasy Award or something like that. So Steel City Magic. Get out of here, ring light. I bought purely for the cover. I love the cover. I have another one. Let me see if I can find it and grab it. That I bought these fantasy series purely for the cover because I get nostalgic when I see like those old fantasy covers. I can't find it. Maybe this is the one. But I need to stop doing that. Next, we have The Religion, which is a big chunky book. And it says it's really good. And it's not that I don't believe it, but I have so many historical fiction that, yeah, it's gonna go. It's going. Mythology. When I was younger, any type of book on mythology, I would just like gobble up, whether it was fiction or nonfiction, whether it was just like a listing of all the gods and goddesses with, you know, their powers and what they were known for and their history and stuff like that. I have become a bit more choosy now that I'm older and there's so much more available. So while I do love having books like this, and I have skimmed through this one, I don't think I'm ever going to like sit down and read this through, so it can go. Dangerous Lies. The rain on the cover here is all like bubbly on the front. It feels really cool. But this author, Becca Fitzpatrick, I think wrote the Hush saga. Yeah, the Hush Hush saga, which I wasn't a big fan of. So, trilogy. We have the Sword of the Dragon series. First one is Swords of the Six. I think this is the one I was talking about where I was like, old fantasy. And then look at this cover. I love it. Offspring. She's just like chilling with this dragon looking creature. Was she playing him a song? Oh no. And then Key of Living Fire. I love it, but I have so many fantasy series that I really want to get into that it's too many. It's too many, and I need to get rid of some of the ones that I'm not like super stoked about. So it's going. Halls of Law. Same reason. Yep, same reason. I have nothing more to say. The Mapmaker's Wife. This is a true tale of love, murder, and survival in the Amazon. That sounds really cool. This is much more of like a nonfiction, just like a dry accounting of what happened, which is not what I'm into. So that's gonna go. Oh my goodness, next we have another series. This, oh my gosh. We've got Tiger's Curse, Tiger's Quest, Tiger's Voyage, Dragon, and Tiger's Destiny. I found all these at once. I don't think I'm going to read them. I'm not going to read them. So they are also going to go. This next one here is a duplicate. I've got Morning Star. I knew I had the first book in this series and either the second or the third, but I couldn't remember which one. And I was at like a Goodwill and I saw the entire series there. And I kept thinking, is it the second? Is it the third? I don't know. So I bought them both. And it turns out I had the second. So this one will be going. Goodbye. Tales of the Peculiar. I did read Ransom Riggs, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I did like that series a lot. I didn't like it so much that I feel like I need a like offshoot, which I think this is, isn't it? Is it like a collection of short stories from the same universe or something? I will say the artwork inside is really cool. I do like the artwork, but that's not a good enough reason to keep it. So, The Empire of Dreams. Also cool cover. It's just too young. Oh, here's the one. Okay. Serpent Silver. Yeah. Dragon. Boy on Dragon. Love it. This is the sequel. I don't have the first book, so it's going. The Guest Book. I think this is the one that I've heard. Is this the book that I've heard mostly negative things about? I could be wrong. It could be a different book. But I think this is it. Yeah, it's just like a family saga spanning 3 generations. I'm typically not... I'm not crazy about a ton of different POV books, so that's going to go. Snow Falling on Cedars. I did attempt this book quite a few years ago. I remember just not really jiving with it. It might be different now, but it's still going to go. And The Company of the Courtesan is going. My Life as a Man by Philip Roth. It's going. Yeah, it's about like a marriage. And that's built on fraud, it says. I I don't really like stories where like a relationship breaking is at the focal point. It just kind of gets tiring to me after a bit. Eve, I did read The Shack by this author a few years ago. I did really like that one, but I don't think I'm going to read this one. Into the Dim, I think this is a book about time travel. I'm not crazy about time travel books. Sea of Tranquility, I love this author so much. I did find a cover that had really pretty blue sprayed edges. It was so pretty that I did it. So this one can go to someone else. We have The Stranger. I found a matching edition to the other book I have by this author. So what that book is, don't ask me. I can't remember. Is it The Plague? Might be The Plague. So this one's gonna go. We're almost there. We've got 2 Orson Scott Card books, Ender's Shadow and Children of the Fleet. I have yet to read Ender's Game, and it's also sci-fi, so I'm probably not going to be that crazy about it. I try with sci-fi, man. I do, but it usually doesn't end up great. We've got Oathbringer by Brando Sando. I bought the Mistborn series in this UK softcover, but for The Way of Kings, I am trying to get them all. The ones I have so far are hardcover, so I'd like to continue that. So this one's gonna go. This is Crash and Burn. It's a portrait of the modern American teenage male in all his brash, disillusioned, oversexed, schizophrenic, drunk, nihilistic, hopeful, ADHD diagnosed glory. No, thank you. That's why I put it there. Now I remember. We have the Sisters Grimm, which is like fairy tales for children instead of the Brothers Grimm, which is cool, but I don't really know why I bought it. Guinevere. I have so many books about Guinevere and Arthur and Merlin. I don't need another one. The Astonishing Life of Octavian Nothing. Octavian Nothing. Traitor to the Nation. This is volume 2. I do not have volume 1. Although I think the first one did, yeah, sequel to the National Book Award winner. That's cool. But I don't have that one, so. Last one. No. Yes, last one. Never Caught. This one is kind of a bummer. I wanted to read this one because I thought it was, I've talked about this a bunch before, I'm sorry, but I thought it was more, like it's based on a true story, obviously, but I thought it was fiction in the way that it puts you in the mindset of the main character, and it's not. It's just kind of like this cut and dry accounting, more nonfiction of like, you know, they were in Philadelphia and then they went to this other place and this happened, and it's an interesting story that, like, I, for one, did not know much about Ona Judge. But just the writing style, I don't think I'm going to. It would just feel like, you know, reading a history book. Maybe if I can find her story in fiction, historical fiction, that would be cool. But that's it, guys. We made it. I am going to have my May reads coming up soon. I think I read like 15 books. No. I have the pile right over there and I'm trying to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, maybe like 13 books. So decent May reads. And I also am going to have a book haul coming up soon. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep an eye out for those. Bye, guys.